In today's video, we will witness the events of the story of the largest bank robbery that occurred in Japan. This operation is considered one of the smartest thefts I've ever encountered, and even the events that unfolded after the robberies and the search for the suspected thieves are intriguing and strange to the extent that it will surprise you. Make sure to listen to the story until the end. Our story takes place in the year 1968, at a time when Japan was experiencing significant economic growth due to its leadership in the global technological revolution. Naturally, the banking sector and banks were thriving, making them an excellent target for many thieves. Indeed, several major bank robberies took place in Japan at that time. However, among all these robberies, one stood out as the most audacious and significant. The events began with the manager of a bank in the capital, Tokyo. This bank was called Nihon Trust Bank. One morning, the manager woke up and checked the mailbox at his house, which usually contained bills from utility companies and occasionally letters from family and friends. However, on this day, the manager was surprised to find a strange letter from an unknown person. When he opened the letter, he was shocked by its contents. The letter was a demand from the anonymous sender asking the bank manager to collect a sum of 300 million yen and place it at a specified location. The sender threatened to detonate dynamite at the manager's house if the demand was not met. The manager, alarmed and fearful, immediately contacted the police. Subsequently, similar letters were discovered at the bank and the manager's office, all making the same demand for 300 million yen with threats of violence. Despite the seriousness of the threat, work in the bank continued as usual. The Japanese held work and set off for Toshiba's branch, which was only a short distance away. Suddenly, a police officer appeared in front of them, signaling them to stop. The car stopped, and the officer informed them that an attack had taken place at the manager's house, resulting in explosions and injuries. The police officer further warned that there was a high likelihood that the unknown sender had also planted bombs in the bank, and possibly even in the bank's cars, including the one they were driving, and he asked them to quickly search inside the car and make sure there was nothing under the seats. The terrified employees immediately began searching under their feet and under the seats. In a state of extreme fear, the police officer, on the other hand, went under the car to ensure there were no planted bombs. Suddenly, instead of sparks and smoke, fumes started rising from under the car. The employees inside the car quickly realized that there was a bomb about to explode. The police officer, who was still under the car, noticed the sparks and smoke and started moving quickly to get out from under the car before the bomb detonated. The employees inside the car hastily opened the doors, ran away from the vehicle, and took cover behind the nearest wall, their hearts pounding in their chests, expecting the car to explode at any moment. However, moments passed without any explosion, leaving the employees bewildered. They cautiously peeked out from behind the wall to discover that the car had disappeared, along with the police officer. All that remained in the location was the police officer's bicycle and on the ground, a signaling stick commonly used for alerts or calling for help. The employees were confused and couldn't comprehend what had just happened. Initially, they thought the brave police officer had taken the car away to prevent it from exploding. They immediately called the bank, relieved when the manager assured them that everything was fine, including his house, which hadn't exploded, and there were no bombs anywhere. It slowly dawned on the employees that the sparks and smoke under the car had come from the signaling stick in the street, not from the supposed planted bomb. They realized that the police officer, who played the role of a rescuer, was in fact the bank robber. He had deceived them with the signaling stick, making them believe there was a bomb under the car, and when he fled, he took the bank's car containing the demanded 300 million yen. This heist is now considered the largest bank robbery in Japan. The police were immediately informed, and investigators arrived at the crime scene. They found numerous clues left behind by the robber. One crucial piece of evidence was the bicycle. It turned out that the bicycle was not a genuine police bicycle. Its model resembled a police bike, but it had been painted white, and a loudspeaker similar to those on police bikes was attached. From the employee's description of the robber, It was evident that he was dressed exactly like a police officer. Every detail was meticulously crafted, making it nearly impossible for the bank employees to distinguish him from a genuine police officer. As the stolen amount was substantial, the police treated the case with utmost seriousness, deploying over 10,000 officers across Tokyo. They set up hundreds of inspection checkpoints on most major streets, specifically targeting black sedans, as that was the color of the bank's car. However, the situation did not last long until the police found the car abandoned and deserted in a cemetery close to the crime scene. Next to the car, there were traces of another vehicle's tires. This led the police to realize that the robber had either taken the money or switched cars. New orders were issued to inspection checkpoints to search all vehicles. However, these instructions came too late, giving the robber ample opportunity to bypass the checkpoints without any issues. And the following morning, the news spread across all newspapers. They attempted to trace the source of the bicycle, but all leads ended up as dead ends. In an effort to create a likeness of the thief, the police generated a composite image based on the descriptions provided by the bank employees who were in the car. This image, although not available at the time, was widely distributed afterward. It was printed more than 750,000 times and circulated through various media outlets, including newspapers and magazines. Despite the extensive effort, no one in Japan had seen the thief. The investigation continued for years, becoming the largest in Japan's history. Over 110,000 individuals were questioned, involving more than 170,000 police officers in this massive operation. The cost of the investigation reached an astounding 900 million yen, surpassing the stolen amount. The government's goal wasn't solely to recover the stolen funds, but rather to establish the authority and strength of the law enforcement system. The government and police needed to demonstrate their power and ensure that such crimes would not be taken lightly. During this extensive investigation, 3 main suspects emerged, each with peculiar and intriguing stories. We will delve into 3 of these suspects due to the uniqueness of their narratives. The first suspect was, surprisingly, the bank director himself. Although the police did not directly accuse him, rumors circulated among the people that he might be the mastermind. The assumed secrecy of the money transfer operation, known only to the director and the employees in the car, fueled suspicions. Despite public accusations, the police did not consider him a direct suspect due to the lack of concrete evidence. The second suspect had a tragic story. A taxi driver named Takanaka Hashaudi was accused because he lived in proximity to the bank, and his appearance allegedly matched the police-generated composite image. Despite being a skilled taxi driver, the police couldn't find any concrete evidence to implicate him. While the police did not officially consider him a suspect, information about him leaked to the media, leading to sensationalized articles featuring his name and image. These questions raised doubts about the bank director's involvement, but the police did not consider him a suspect due to the lack of tangible evidence. The second suspect, Takanaka Hashaudi, faced a tragic situation, being accused without substantial evidence. The media's sensationalization of his story based on leaked information further complicated the situation, highlighting the challenges and intricacies of the extensive investigation. While there was no concrete evidence, this man became a suspect simply because his appearance resembled the police-generated image, and he lived in an unusual location. After his name spread in the media, the police decided to arrest and investigate him more deeply to satisfy public opinion. However, during the investigation, they discovered that the driver had a strong alibi at the time of the robbery, making it impossible for him to be the perpetrator. They released him, but unfortunately, the extensive coverage and widespread dissemination of his name and image tarnished his reputation significantly. This led to him losing his job and being isolated by friends and acquaintances who distanced themselves to avoid association with the falsely accused. Despite not committing any wrongdoing, the impact of baseless accusations pushed the man to a tragic and heartbreaking end. Moving on to the third suspect, The strongest among those considered was a 19-year-old named Soto. He belonged to a local gang and was also the son of a police officer, a perplexing combination. Soto had a history of car theft, and during the investigation, the police uncovered that he had switched cars multiple times, always using stolen vehicles. His exceptional skills in riding motorcycles, similar appearance to the police-generated image, and the fact that his father was a police officer made him a compelling suspect. As the investigation progressed, it was revealed that Soto didn't have a strong alibi for the time of the robbery. Furthermore, he exhibited remarkable proficiency in mimicking police attire and utilizing police equipment. However, just hours before the police could apprehend him, news broke that Soto had taken his own life. The investigation concluded his death as suicide, with no concrete evidence linking him to the crime. Several alternative theories emerged, including speculation about Soto's father poisoning him to avoid the disgrace of having a son implicated in a crime. Another theory suggested that Soto's father masterminded the entire operation, and the son participated to hide the stolen money. Yet another theory proposed that the gang, in collaboration with Soto, orchestrated the crime. The discovery of significant amounts of cash in possession of one of the gang members, years after the incident, fueled this theory. The case officially closed in December 1975, with the police unable to reach any definitive conclusions. In 1988, as per Japanese law, the statute of limitations was reached, relieving the thief of any criminal consequences. To this day, no one has confessed or been professionally linked to the execution of this heist, making it an unsolved mystery. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon for more exciting content. Thank you for your continued support, and we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.